Let's go, people.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's show. We've got a lineup that's packed with more drama than a...
Are we in the house? Mic check, 1, 2, what is this? All right. What up, people? Give it up for my people, my people, my people. It's Saturday, so this is early. See how we doing? There we go. Just checking my mic. We good. Got to make sure of these things. Because I got so many haters out there that they wouldn't tell me if my mic wasn't working. So I got to make sure I make sure I check my own equipment. What is up, people? My name is Tim Black. Welcome back to the Tim Black Show. This is Tim Black's Black Table. This is the Black Table for a reason, because we talk black from a black perspective on this show. It's also a lefty type of show because of the policies that I believe in. So give it up for that. So we're going to do this, man. There's a lot going on. The title of today's show is Cornel West versus Max Blumenthal, Jimmy Dore, reverse racism, the Tucker left. Something like that. I changed it a couple times. But the premise stays the same, right? The premise stays the same. So I want to first give a big shout out to my people on Patreon who have managed to somehow support this irrelevant character known as Tim Black, because you know I'm really irrelevant. Yeah, I'm irrelevant. So that's always funny to hear from the whites. The white lefties, they're so progressive that anybody who's not in their clique is not relevant to politics. It's interesting. If I'm irrelevant, what are all the other black people that are in the left space? What are they? I'm just checking. Because I'm still King Kong and, you know, my perspective, my respected place in this, in what I do, but it's just amazing. They don't see any elitism at all in their statements. None of it. But that's okay, because that's not what today's show is about. It's not about, do you think Tim Black is relevant, because that's up to the eye of the beholder. But I want to give it up to those people on Patreon, those people on Facebook, those people on YouTube who support the show, who do think we have something vital to offer here at the Tim Black Table. Once again, we'll be doing that tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when me and Mrs. Black come together to do Tim Black's Black Table. As irrelevant as it is, as non-consequential as it is, we're going to do it anyway. And that's a good jumping off point for today's show, because by and large, the reason why I'm doing this program is because to white leftists, these phony progressives that say they are allies, we are irrelevant. Black people are irrelevant and are an obstacle the moment that black people start seeing that they have an agency. Once black people stand up and say, hey, we got some demands of our own, all of a sudden we become irrelevant. If you understand what I'm saying, folks, put a 1 up in the chat. Just to show how non-crazy Tim Black is. See, they never ask black people what black people want, what black people think, what are our issues, what are our concerns. They just assume that they got it. They just assume that whatever they believe is what we believe. They just assume the hierarchy of needs that they think are so important is the same way for us. When was the last time they asked an actual black person that they weren't paying? When was the last time they talked to black people to find out what black people concerns are? Now, no black person speaks for all black people. I'm speaking for a certain class of black folks. The class that predominantly I think I speak the most for, are a group affectionately known or coined by my friend Mud from the Reset Race Group. It's the hurting class. Because see, we got the working class and we got the hurting class. The working class, when I hear working class, I think white guys with a lunch pail. I think Dan the drywall man from Roseanne. This has nothing to do about what the term actually means. This is the connotation that I've been told from talking to black people, something a lot of these uppity leftists just don't do. When they hear the word working class, it seems like a shorthand for white people, white middle class, who may or may not have, who don't have degrees, who don't have college degrees, who don't do jobs, professional jobs. That's what it kind of comes to mind. But see, there's this thing called the hurting class, which is what all the black people are in, except for that, I don't know, we got like 3 billionaires or something. So it's just crazy. What do we got? We got average black family is worth about 10 cents for every dollar of the average white family. Basically, if poor white people were as poor as black people, they would just jump in front of trains. It's like the average black college graduate has less wealth than a white dropout of high school. But you want to talk to me about class and leave out the racial component. So we're going to get into a lot of that, man. We got a lot to discuss, man. See, they don't know anything. That's why I say I would love to have you, Max Blumenthal, to come on my show so we can have a conversation. Because you spend a lot of time talking about Venezuela and Latin America, and I'm not knocking you for that. But when you fix your mouth to discuss black concerns, black issues, and you leave out all context of what's going on with black people, then I got a problem. Now, some of you are going to wonder, Tim Black, what are you talking about Max Blumenthal for? He's the champion of all things international. He loves Julian Assange so much more than most people. He's amazing. He does such amazing work. I didn't say he didn't do great work. I said he don't know, but when he opens his mouth, when he fixes his mouth to talk about black issues, when you spit the word black out of your mouth like you got a shard of glass in your mouth, like you just drank some spoiled milk, when you spit the word black out your mouth that way about what should not be discussed on the campaign trail, man, I got a problem about that. I don't have a problem with you. I got a problem with what you said. I've never said a cross word about you. Ever. I have no reason to. Everyone wants to play victim. So here we go, guys. Let's jump off with a clip. That'll keep me grounded. That'll keep us talking about something that we all are aware I'm talking about. Because I made a tweet. First of all, I was minding my business doing what I normally do. A friend of the show sent me a clip. And this person was pissed. They were enraged about this, right? They sent it to me around 7:30 last night. I was preparing to watch the interview with Peter Daou, so I didn't watch it right away. I waited till after the interview with Peter Daou, and then I watched this clip, and I said, wow, do I want to address this or not? Because I know all I'm going to get is a bunch of hate, a bunch of denials. But let's go ahead and play a portion of the clip, because the actual video is an hour and a half. But towards the end of this is Max Blumenthal. Towards the end of this, as he was about to sign off, he started reading comments in his comment section. Someone in his comment section said, hey, Max, he who does not really cover domestic news, which is mostly what black people are concerned about, because our hierarchy of needs hasn't really moved us to overseas as much as white folks who have time for, the hierarchy needs you worry about basic things like food on the table, safety, avoiding dying in the elements. Then you worry about stuff like what kind of car you got. Then you worry about, you have a hierarchy. Certain things have to be settled first before you can look at other things that are more luxurious. So you start at the basic level of survival. So that's sort of like where black people still are, the majority of black people. Which brings us back to why we can't just talk about class, because a lot of black people are still stuck at the bottom because we have been second-class citizens by our government, determined that way. So when Max Blumenthal was asked what he thought about the interview between Jimmy Dore, the Jimmy Dore interview with Cornel West and all the uproar, Max Blumenthal went on a sort of a rant. And here goes a portion of that rant.
Instead, he's dismissing them all and only addressing people with whom he's in deep solidarity, which is a tiny group of boutique left activists in a blue area of the country. And so I said to Cornel directly.
So he started off in this clip. He starts off. He says that Dr. West is dismissing Trump supporters. See, this is how I know that this is not a good faith argument, because Cornel West on several occasions said, hey, I'm going to go out and talk to Trump supporters, which is the absolute opposite of what Max just said. No one in this comment section that I saw corrected him. It's a straight up lie. Because if you say, hey, I'm going to go out to Trump land and make the case, because we got to remember, 1 out of 10 Trump supporters voted for Bernie, so we got to go out and reach for him. I heard him say this, not just on my channel, he said it on cable media, cable news. But still, Max starts his diatribe saying how Dr. Cornel West wants to ignore Trump supporters. I got all types of problems with that. Because it's wrong, it's a lie, it's bull, and he's going to get worse. Okay, he's going to get worse. So let's keep going there. But I don't want to play the whole clip and then have to take it apart piece by piece. We're going to stop it and go again. So let's go again.
Activists in a blue area of the country. And so I said to Cornel directly that you're with whom he's in deep solidarity, which is a tiny group of boutique left activists in a blue area of the country.
He uses the word solidarity like it's a dirty thing. The people that he's in solidarity with. Sounds like he's talking about black people. I don't know, because the people that Cornel West is in solidarity with, I thought he was in solidarity with all people that are suffering under the regime of this political duopoly. I thought that's what it was. But according to Max, that's not who it is. It's not everybody. It's not people struggling. It's not the people that Dr. West talks about every time I've ever heard him speak for the last 20 years. It's not that group of people that he's been talking about. It's just a specific, the small, whatever Max is saying. So I'm confused who he's talking about.
And so I said to Cornel directly that your rhetoric might be good for the old Brecht Forum, which was a defunct activist space in New York, but real serious independent candidates like Ralph Nader, for example, in 2000, they made waves and threatened the establishment.
Also want to highlight as well when he said, I told Cornel to his face. See, here we go again. We got this guy. Sounds very reminiscent of Jimmy Dore. Yeah, I tried to tell him. I got to coach him up. He doesn't know what he's doing. So yeah, I'm trying to help him because he doesn't know what he's doing. I told him to his face what he needs to do. Damn it, if he would just listen to me. These people have no EQ. When I know you don't have a large black following, Max, but when black people hear white guys talk about black people this way, it sounds racist. I know it's impossible. It's totally against, you can never ever be a bigot or racist or nothing, because we know they all come with a sign with an R on their heads, right? No one's ever, you could never possibly be a condescending bigot. But you sound like one, right? When you say, hey, I told him to his face, like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Like, for real, in the stream itself, the long, like he goes on for about 6 minutes. And then he was defending Jimmy the whole time because he said Dr. West sicked. He sicked these people on Jimmy and to call him racist. I think Max was talking about me. So that's one of the reasons why I felt compelled to go ahead and do this and also put out the tweet. But let's pick up because I missed the point. There was something else he said I thought was interesting.
The country. And so I said to Cornel directly that your rhetoric might be good for the old Brecht Forum, which was a defunct activist space in New York, but real serious independent candidates like Ralph Nader, for example, in 2000, they made
real serious. Hear the talking points? Sounds a lot like Jimmy. Didn't Jimmy say this a lot? Dr. Cornel West, his campaign's not serious. I'm smelling coordination. You guys hearing the coordination here? Does this sound a lot like Jimmy Dore to you? Put a 1 up in the comment section if it sounds a little bit like Jimmy Dore's argument that Dr. West isn't running a real campaign. He's running just because of vanity, right? That's what he's doing. He's not really running. It's not a serious campaign. Condescending. Same narrative that I heard Jimmy spew, but not coordinated, right? It just sounds exactly the same. The exact same argument. So that would mean to me, it appears not to be in good faith.
Directly that your rhetoric might be good for the old Brecht Forum, which was a defunct activist space in New York, but real serious independent candidates like Ralph Nader, for example, in 2000, they made waves and threatened the establishment by putting together a real political program. And it was based on class, not all of the identitarian issues.
We're in a different time there, Max, and identitarian issues. You mean black people? Come on, Max, you're a big guy. You're a big guy. You've been around the world. You've gone dangerous places. Go ahead and go dangerous places now. Who are you talking about? You know, one of the criticisms that black people give Dr. West is that he's not focusing enough on black issues. But to you, he focuses way too much. Yeah, he's focusing so much, he's not a serious candidate, and he has no program. Now, I would admit, it's really early, considering the campaign launched a week ago. And I would imagine that there's going to be some more meat on the bone concerning exactly like what he's trying to roll out, what are going to be his chief principles. But they're all on the website, cornelwest24.org. I did see some stuff on the website. You would think he didn't have a website with 3 different stages of principles that matter to the campaign that they're focused on. You would think that didn't exist. Since Max doesn't know what they are, I'm gonna play his, but I'm gonna make sure people know before they leave what they are. I don't have them memorized. But if you go to the issues section of the website, Max, you'll see policies. And number 1, you should be really happy with. It's called Dismantling the Empire, which is cutting back on military spending. And it goes into that. And then it goes about all the places around the globe where we focus way too much attention. But let's keep going with Max because we really need to hear what Max has to say because Max is really principled. And he would never repeat talking points from his good friend Jimmy Dore, who was a large reason why many people listen to Max. Like Max, we all know the gray zone was having a lot of struggle, was the struggle zone. And then you teamed up with you and Aaron, you kind of teamed up with Jimmy, and it gave you a lot of wind underneath your wings. But you wouldn't be beholden to him. You wouldn't be repeating the nonsense out of his mouth. Just because he's a guy that helped put money in your pocket and make you sustainable. Oh, you'd never do that, would you? Let's keep going with Max, as Max is a political consultant. He really knows his stuff.
In 2000, they made waves and threatened the establishment by putting together a real political program. And it was
Cornel West is not making waves, and he's not threatening the establishment. Yeah, that's the reason why they call him an existential threat to democracy. That's right, Max. Way to go, Max. Exactly. Dr. West is not threatening the establishment, but they're calling him a kook and crazy, and they're saying someone must have put a Jedi mind trick on Dr. West, because Dr. West is a threat to democracy itself. But to you, he ain't doing anything. To you, it's because he says black. He said white supremacy, something that doesn't impact your life, really. Since he said that, he's not serious. Why is he not serious, Max? Let's get to the bottom of why he's not serious. I think you believe he's not serious because you and so many others are so racist that if you mention this thing called racism or white supremacy or institutional racism, you get so butthurt like Ron DeSantis that you don't want to listen to anything else. And you say, this is just a distraction. See, to you, it's a distraction. Black people's issues, concerns, frustrations, worries, hauntings are nothing but distractions to you. Let's keep going.
based on class, not all of the identitarian issues. Obviously, we can't discount identity for Black Americans.
Really? You sound like, it sounds like you, the way you said it, it sounds like you can discount it. In fact, it does sound like you discounted it. I mean, it sounds exactly like you discounting it. Of course, we can't discount Black issues. Really? Took a while to get to it. The identitarian concerns. See, in Max's world, if everybody just had $5 more an hour, or everybody just had a little bit more money in their bank accounts, everybody be good. Guess what, Max? There are Black people in Boston, where you're from, whose net worth is $0. Do you realize the gross wealth inequality, the racial wealth gap in Boston, where you're from? Do you realize that? See, I got a problem with Black people and white people that don't read this stuff, man. I really do. But that's my purpose, man, to come inform you, bro. Last time I checked, it was like the average white family in Boston was worth like $150,000, and the average white family in Boston was worth like $150,000, and I could be a little under there. And the average Black family is worth like $- or something, because they were all in debt and they really didn't own shit. I mean, that was Boston, your hometown, your home state. But to you, all we need to do is make sure everybody got a little bit more money in their bank account, and we're all good. We don't need to be worrying about this. Yeah, we do need to worry about it, identitarian. We do need to worry about Black concerns, because what's good for white people ain't always good for us. So we got to be concerned with it. See, I made a mistake a long time ago. I thought the progressives were better than conservatives. I thought that progressive people that call themselves progressive, when I invited you on my show and you were talking and I was helping you sell your damn book, Max, when I did that, I thought you were a good guy. I thought you cared about Black people. You don't care about Black people. You care about your people. You care about your little neck of the woods, Max. That's what you care about. You care about those issues that you tackle in faraway countries, Max. That's what you care about. And if you were on my show, or if you were in D.C., I'd come meet you, we could film it, and I would say it directly to you. I would speak directly to you, Max. Man to man. Hermano via hermana. Hermano y hermano. Hermano y hermano. Yeah, got it, man to man. Whatever. Mano. Not brother. Well, Brother West. But I'll be talking right directly to you, man. Dr. Sandy Durity is a great economist, man. I've had the privilege of interviewing him a number of times and become enlightened myself. No one has this information just implanted in their brains. Like no one leaves high school with it. I don't even think you get it in college. It's got to be like an elective to like learn really what's going on with black people. So you got to seek out the information. And I'm not faulting you for not knowing, but I am faulting you for lying. I am faulting you for speaking as if you know something that you don't know, or I'm faulting you for not caring. Once again, all the people that were defending you, hey man, he put this clip out. I didn't put it out. He put it out. It's available on YouTube. I didn't sneak and snatch it off his computer. I didn't pay somebody to leak it. He put this out on his own volition, where he talks condescendingly about the Cornel West campaign and black people's issues. And I got a problem with it. The fact you don't have a problem with it, that's your problem. The black left is tired of this. The black left is fed up with this. We need to change how things are done on the left. Black people want inclusion, we want our issues respected, and we're tired of you guys shoving us to the side and then marginalizing us when we don't toe the line for what you want. We cannot in good faith, no black leftists can in good faith forget their communities. Not in good faith, and they can act in bad faith. There's a lot of that going on. We only got 9 more seconds. Let's listen to Max close it down.
Identity for Black Americans, that's a huge factor. Issues. Obviously, we can't discount identity for Black Americans. That's a huge factor. But it's bound up in class. But if you're running for president, you should be running for president of everyone. And it's where.
Listen to Max. Max sounds like he wants Obama. Max sounds like he wants Obama to run. He wants Cornel West to do on Obama. That's what you want? Well, it sounds like you want him to talk like Obama. That what you want? Don't you know that Dr. Cornel West is not Obama, though? Like, that's why it's crazy. Max started off his speech saying how much he liked and respected Dr. West and how Dr. West stood up to Obama in 2015. You know why he stood up to Obama? Because he was doing exactly what you're saying Cornel West should do now. Ignore black issues. Ignore black concerns. Yeah. Cornel West has been talking about black issues for 40 years. 50 years almost. Right? And you want him to ignore that and forget that. Because you see a vehicle for him to talk about only what you want. It's not like Dr. West only talks about black issues. Once again, one of the main criticisms that he gets from black people, because I have also a black audience, and I know you got a couple black people that subscribe to you, I know that, but I'm talking about, I'm on like 60, 70% black audience. And I worked really hard to build that. It was hard after being around you guys, because they just thought I was a sellout. So it took a long time to prove, nah. Took a lot of interviews with Dr. Sandy Durity, Ajamu Baraka, Derek Hamilton. It took issue after issue, time after time, coming out and speaking on these black issues for them to believe, okay, maybe he's not insert name of sellout, corny black guy who throws black people under the bus for white attention and white subscriptions. But it sounds like you want Dr. West to do an Obama, which is, hey, I'm not a, come on now. All right, we're good. Hey, I'm not the president of black America, I'm the president of all America. Can't do nothing for you guys. Hey, whoa, blacks, slow down. Calm down. Michelle, call the cops. Get my Secret Service in here. Got some blacks thinking, because I'm black, that I care about black people. No. I'm here for the whites. Let's go work on the working class. Let's do that. Let's work on the working class. Work on the work. Come on now. Sasha. Leah. That's what you sound like, man. And look, if Dr. West did sound like that, I wouldn't support him. I don't care if he was black as Wesley Snipes. I said if Dr. West started sounding like Obama, I would stop supporting him. I don't care if he was as black as Wesley Snipes. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It's his politics. And look, we're going to get to this later as we get into the Jimmy Dore shit. But let's be clear, guys. Dr. West always talks about working class issues. I have never, ever had an opportunity to speak to Dr. West when working class issues didn't come up foremost. That's almost all he talks about. What are you talking about? And what stump speech are you referring to where he doesn't address working class issues? See, your thing is, and the thing with you and the Jimmy Dores, first of all, I don't know who's paying you guys. I've been sent a link to look into that. It's obvious who's paying me, no one. So my setup is very rudimentary. Hell, I couldn't even go to Philly without a GoFundMe. So, that's interesting. We'll get to that at some point. Until I can really get into some fact-finding on who's funding who, where people get money from, because I'm hearing some stuff. I'm not going to throw that out there because I think that is potential liability in that. And I'm so poor I can't afford to get sued. But I am starting to wonder why is Dr. West's stiffest opposition not been the center, not been the real liberal Democrats, not been the Republicans, but it's been you guys. I'm starting to wonder why is that. And I know Jimmy is saying, it's because I care so much. Dr. West has not even delivered a stump speech, and you're already complaining about the content of the stump speech. How are you complaining about a speech he hasn't given yet? Are you complaining about his policies on his website? Then what the hell are we actually talking about, Max? You got a problem with dismantling the empire, unleashing democracy, and saving the planet? I'm just trying to figure it out. Which one of those do you got a problem with? How are those so focused on black people? The fucking My bad. He's got 3 principal areas. None of those areas say black Americans. None of them say gay or trans or anything of that nature, right? I'm looking at them. I just read them to you. Max, you could read, right? Dismantling the empire. It's about NATO. It's about Ukraine. It's about domination, 800 military bases across the countries, across the world. In how many countries? I don't know, 120 countries? I don't know, some crazy number. It's about Egypt. Okay, unleashing democracy. Then he gets into social needs, Medicare for all, college tuition. He supports reparations. Maybe that's probably read that part. It's like, what's he doing supporting reparations? He got to be like Jimmy and not support it. Ranked choice voting. Then he's got saving the planet, which obviously, kind of hard to do all this other stuff if we get annihilated through natural disasters brought on by climate change. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out of those things, those 3 pillars, what's the problem, man? It seems like a smear almost. You're complaining about a stump speech he hasn't given. You're complaining about policies he doesn't have. I'm really trying to find out what the problem you and Jimmy Dore have, really. What's the real the genesis? Like, where is it? Where does it come from? Where is the issue? What did he say? What What are you talking about? I gave you an opportunity, you coward. I gave you an opportunity. I can extend the same opportunity to coward Jimmy Dore. We can talk about it, but you're so worried that I'll get bigger if you talk to me because I'm irrelevant. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't want a black actual voice that stands up for black people struggling in this country to actually get some wings. None of y'all want that. None of you. None of you want that. That's the real problem why you got no conversation and want to send underlings and people that aren't even a part of this conversation into defense for yourselves. Went around to that black friend you know that owes you a favor because you built their careers or put money in their pocket or set them up with Paul Allard or whatever his name is. Come on, man. Nobody's stupid. But let's keep going. Well, we're done with Max. We done with Max? Okay. I do have some points here. So my core argument is that you can't separate class and race. They are connected. I famously told this one liner, yo, you tell me class and race are not connected, but they still spray painted the word nigger on LeBron James' house. Because class and race are inextricably connected. They cannot be separated. Black Americans have been made a permanent underclass in this country. Not because they were poor, because they were black. Hence, you can't separate class and race. I was looking at the Pew survey, very, very recent Pew survey that just came out. I don't even know if I have this in front of me. But basically, it said that a number of black folks don't feel like we're getting any traction at all. And that racism is a major deterrent to black life, black happiness and black life. Now, nothing's more important than happiness. That's the key of life. That's the elixir of life. Dr. West is in tune with that because he experiences it. He understands it. He identifies with it. Instead of saying, you know what, maybe black people who are in tune with this, who study it, maybe people that follow it, like Tim Black, who's been following black issues for the last 12 years as a job, I don't do something else. Maybe they know some things I don't know. Maybe they're aware of some things. Maybe they're connected to some things that I'm not connected to because I don't even cover this type of shit on a daily basis. Maybe they got something to offer. Maybe they have an insight that may be different than my own. But no, that couldn't possibly be true because then you'd have to listen to black people tell you what it is. All of you. The left needs to be remade. We need to be reformed. It needs to be inclusive of us. We demand it. It's like this, man. We got the liberals. We know they suck, and nobody here is debating that. They use our traumas, our pain, our struggles as a way to line their pockets. We know that, right? We know that. Can we all agree on that? Something we can agree on because we're talking about someone else, right? We're talking about another group of people that are not within our body politic, right? So everyone can agree that that's what the liberals do. Do you know what progressives and lefties do? They ignore our problems the same way, but then they say those problems are a distraction. Now, I don't know about you. But for me, knowing that I have a son, and when he went to college in Baltimore, I was very concerned about him being able to come back home because the environment in which he lived is a violent environment because the close proximity to so many black people that don't have anything. I mean, the unemployment rate is off the hook. It's like 3 times for black people what it is for white people in this area. The lack of resources is off the charts. And we're talking about a city that has been devastated and ravaged with over-policing, mass incarceration due to the still reeling from Joe Biden's policies. But it wasn't just Joe Biden, but yeah, Joe Biden policies, tough on crime, what have you, right? His mom and I sitting here worried every barely getting sleep, wondering if he was okay, if he was safe. See, I don't know if you deal with that, right? I don't know if you understand living with that over your head constantly. It gives us a different vantage point. I'm not even saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you don't know what you're talking about. I'm saying you are insensitive to the concerns, the daily concerns, the needs, the struggles of black folks. And instead of letting black folks articulate that, you are dismissive. You're condescending. That's a problem. And if we're going to get condescension out of somebody who does great work, that makes it even worse. Because you are revered for your work. I'm not saying you report on Latin America and the problems there, like places like Venezuela, because you're a bad person. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I would expect more from you. And it's sad that I can't. So, scroll for me. Scroll for me. Let's go to another clip, guys, because this is not all we're going to get into. Let's go to Jimmy Dore. This is also a problem. This is why I say we need to reform this left. And you know what? And there are a lot of people that are watching right now who are black and on the left, or not allies. I'm going to say team members, because we're a part of the same team. We hold very similar political ideologies. We're on the same team. I learned that from Dr. West. Forget the ally language. We want team players. Allies sit in the bleachers and go team. No, we need people that want you in the band with us. I want you on drums. I play sax. And without us, we can't make music. We need all of us. Get what I'm saying? That's what we're looking for. Some of those people that are on the team know what I'm talking about. And those people are not brainwashed, they're not crazy, they're not terrorists, okay? They're not identitarian fanatics. They have a different perspective from you. Before I get to the Jimmy Dore part, I do want to point out something there, because a lot of people were making big to-do about this. And it's about Dr. Cornel West and the whole idea that he considered Donald Trump more fascist than Biden. So I started doing some digging, because now at first I just said, well, I kind of agree with Jimmy and them, because I detest Biden so much. I literally detest Joe Biden so much. So much I detest him. You know what? I detest Joe Biden so much. Hold tight. Joe Biden so much. Let me get Max off the screen. I detest Joe Biden so much. See these are what are left of my thousands of no Joe buttons. Now, to the members of the Tim Black Show who are Patreons, I sent you free ones. See, these are no Joe buttons. I had these made. I spent my money to make no Joe buttons. That's how much I detest Joe Biden. That's how much I can't stand him. So when Jimmy Dore was making the argument that Joe Biden was every bit as fascist as Trump, and Dr. West disagreed, I disagreed with Dr. West at first. Just because of my total dislike. I said, well, hell, man. Joe Biden helped do the crime bill. What was Trump doing? Yeah, he wrote that letter that time to try to get them boys executed. But he had the power to do that. It's just a private citizen being a racist, being a bloodthirsty racist and looking for an opportunity to get some publicity. That's what he was doing. But that's not the same level as what Joe Biden was doing, right? So I know we you know, you get what I'm saying? Like, so, and this wasn't the only bill that Joe Biden had signed on to that devastated black communities. It was like 4 or 5 bills like that. Yeah, the thing with the discharging of, the bankruptcy discharging of college debt, you know, him blocking that, him saying, and if the old stuff, the greatest hits don't work, he got some new ones that are just as offensive, like saying if there was a Medicare bill that went across his desk, he wouldn't sign it, he'd block it, he'd veto Medicare for all, universal health care. He lied and said, hey, I'm going to give you $700, and he didn't. Or whatever it was. Maybe it was $600. I forget what the number was. He lied about how much money. He said, if you guys help come up with this, if you do this, save America. Save America. It's nothing we can't ever do. Then he lied, said, got to go down to Georgia. Got to go down to Georgia and save America. Got to do it. Nah, real talk, man. No joke. No play. Real. Not a joke. He was lying. Then we all know you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. So we got a lot of these things. Black kids are every bit as smart as white kids. So yeah, I have a fundamental, like a visceral and deep-seated disdain for Joe Biden. Though there are a lot of Jimmy Dore supporters who think because I'm black, I voted for him just because. Because, you know, they see a black guy, they think this. So I disagree. Once again, like, I respect the hell out of Dr. Cornel West. I support him, obviously. But no one's sicking me on Jimmy Dore. He just kept talking. So I kept talking. Now you're talking, Max. Jimmy shut up and then you picked up. So now I'm talking. But here's the thing. I did disagree with Dr. West on this point about fascism. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to split hairs about Joe Biden and Trump about who's worse or who's more fascist. I think that's a dumb argument to have. But now that I've looked it up, and I say, hey, because the boiled down definition that Jimmy Dore uses for fascism is corporations and government teaming up to screw over the little guy. I looked that up, and that's not really that's like a limited scope of fascism. That's not really what fascism is. So bear with me, guys. I won't go as long as Jimmy reading this, but it's important that we know that Jimmy doesn't know what Jimmy's talking about. And it's also important to consider maybe Dr. Cornel West was onto something when he said that Donald Trump was fascist and Joe Biden had fascist dimensions. So the term fascism is generally used to describe a specific form of far-right authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, extreme centralized control, suppression of opposition, often achieved through both legal and extra-legal means. I think just hearing far-right, authoritarian, I mean, if you believe that Donald Trump tried to overthrow the election, if you believe it, he's on the right, he's always talking nationalism, make America great again. Yeah, that does seem like that's more so Trump, somewhat more, right? Somewhat more. While corporate power and collusion with the government can indeed be features of a fascist regime, they are not the defining elements of fascism per se. In a fascist system, corporate powers might be co-opted to serve the interests of the state and the ruling party, but the core ideology often centers around notions of racial, ethnic, or national superiority, militarism, and authoritarianism. I think when it comes to the racial aspects of Donald Trump's campaign, it's been a little bit more outwardly racist in his rhetoric. Sure, Biden's been a part of more racist policies in the late 80s, early 90s, but when we're talking about present day, like if you're a racist, you're more than likely a Trump supporter than a Biden supporter. I don't think by much, okay? I'm not delusional. I don't think it's by much, but I do think that not every Trump supporter is a racist, but there'll probably be more racists in the Trump column. So what I'm saying is, looking at that, and though what I described as the definition of fascism being corporate and government power come together to screw workers or working people or citizens, that's still limited because fascism generally involves more elements, including ultranationalism, extreme form of patriotism. I don't get a sense of extreme patriotism out of Joe Biden. I do get that out of Trump, though. Often framed around notions of racial or ethnic purity. See how that sits in the conservative wing? You don't see that? Okay. Authoritarianism, a strong centralized government led by a dictatorial leader. Trump does come across as a strong man. I've heard Cornel West use that term, and I think if you looked at who was a strong man, you probably wouldn't see Biden as being that. I'm just saying. Trump's the one during the George Floyd riots that said, if you loot, we shoot. A president said that in 2019. So what I'm saying is, let me finish this up. Opposition to democracy and liberalism, yeah. I would say both, but Trump is more outwardly with that, don't you think? Social Darwinism, belief in natural superiority of one's group and natural inferiority of others. Yeah, like when Trump said S-hole countries, and he was talking about all the countries that were black. There's some poor white countries, but he wasn't talking about them, was he? No, he wasn't. Militarism. We know they both favor war, but who's the one always bragging or talking or... Since Biden put so much money in the military, I get your point totally. He did pull out of Afghanistan, but we know. They almost did even on it, but it's like that side of the aisle, man. It's just a little more, they lean a little bit further into the military, don't they? I mean, are we being real and being honest here? All I'm trying to show you is that, yeah, if you were a scholar, if you looked at the definition, if you broke it down, you might disagree, but you can see the point of view. Instead of just being dismissive and being a fire starter and being a jackass who doesn't want to see that point of view and want to label it as being soft. It's being soft on Biden. It's not being soft on Biden. It's a different opinion based on the definition of fascism. I just read it to you. I just broke it down. But did you even consider it? So see, part of my problem is I think you guys are full of crap. I think you're being paid to be assholes. I think you're attacking Cornel West mostly based on nothing. It's not based on policy. Because you don't have a policy with dismembering or dismantling the empire. You don't have a problem with that. You don't have a problem cutting down the budget. You all want peace. That's not what Joe Biden's platform is. So he's running against Joe Biden. We get that. Just seems like you're being phony. So though I cannot stand, I detest Joe Biden. I don't even have Trump buttons here. I got them in my store, but I don't have them. Like, I didn't buy them and send them out for people for free. The dump Trump button. Because nobody wanted them because more people hate Joe Biden. I couldn't give those away. And giving those away might get me shot. It's sort of like what I said about the fascism and the strongman side of things. Nobody's shooting you because you don't like Biden. Can we just submit some things? Are we gonna keep it real? Can we do that? Remember, not a Biden supporter here. You put my button on because I'm black, so it's really hard for people to accept that could be possible. I don't want to mess up my Great Hawaiian shirt, but I gotta take the chance because I would hate for people to misinterpret me, mischaracterize a brother. Now, let's go to a clip. Before that, let me set the clip up. Okay, guys? See, Jimmy Dore's been doing this thing, guys. And this is not, look, I want to be clear here, guys. This ain't just about Jimmy. It's about all the followers. And this is not just about Max. It's about this notion that black people's issues don't get the requisite amount of respect with these lefty type folks. With some of these lefty type folks. Remember, I'm not talking about entire groups of people here. I'm not talking about everybody. There are some good people. I met some damn good people, okay? But there is a problem. Scotty, we have a problem, okay? You don't take black people issues seriously. I'm like Harriet Tubman, man. I came to free the slaves. I came to free the slaves. A lot of the black commentators are under siege by you guys. If you disagree with them, or if they disagree with you, but rather, they lose their followings, they lose their means to support themselves. I'm like one of the only black commentators, and look, maybe not even black, maybe one of the only commentators that's not living on his knees. Who's that beholden to anybody? You don't got to agree with me, but I'm not getting paid to say this. And it's not a business model. Dumb. But the problem is that there are people like Jimmy Dore who carry the same politics. I call them the Tucker Carlson crew. These are Tucker Carlson crew. They're now pretending, they're feigning as if the white people in the political process, the white people on the left, the white people, libertarians or populist left or whatever name y'all want to call it, y'all talking like white people are under attack. That the blacks are attacking white folks and making life uncomfortable for you. You're repeating the talking points of Tucker Carlson. Here goes Jimmy Dore repeating the talking points of Tucker Carlson. And meanwhile, his co-hosts nodding along, in agreement in every step of the way.
But he's not serious about running for president. Certainly not with that message of Joe Biden as the lesser. He's repeating. He sounds like Kyle Kalinske when he's on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Dr. Cornel West's message is on the website. Dr. Cornel West's message, folks, is saving the planet, unleashing democracy, and dismantling the empire. No, your shit interview where you would barely let him talk, like you had to get your points out, where you wanted to coach him up. You made the central focus of that interview be Trump is not as bad as Biden. I disagree with you, but that is not his campaign philosophy. He's not running on Joe Biden ain't so bad. That would be stupid, and it's a lie and a smear to say that it is. And it's pathetic that you got people that follow you that agree that that's what his message is, when it's not. It just ain't. So you're a smear artist. You're a con artist and a smear artist. That's what you are, because that's not what this campaign's about. That's not what he's running on. That has not been his message. And if that was his message, he wouldn't get bamboozled and attacked when he goes on CNBC or CNN, would he? I mean, if his message really was, hey man, Biden's all right. Oh, bro, oh, my brother, Joe Biden's okay. My brother Biden. If that was his message, he wouldn't be attacked. Anderson Cooper wouldn't have been trying to play dirty. Chuck Todd wouldn't be calling him crazy. But here goes Jimmy Dore. Watch Jimmy Dore play the race card several times, rapidly in succession. Now, I could diss this down to 1 minute, but this was all during the same episode. Here he goes.
Not serious about running for president. Certainly not with that message of Joe Biden as the lesser. He's repeating. He sounds like Kyle Kalinske when he's on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry if I'm white and I'm saying that, but I try to get a tan, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah.
And that's why I was emotional, and that's why I'm passionate, and I can't help that I'm white. Sorry. So should I apologize for the way I was born? Are you going to apologize for the way you were born? Cornel West, I'm emotionally invested because I've been pushing for a third party for a long time. And so I got passionate with him, and you're not allowed to do that if you're white. So anyway, there he is hiring a white guy to run his campaign.
There it is. Folks, who is Jimmy saying this for? Who is Jimmy saying this for? We're all smart people here. We're going to be honest, right? Who is Jimmy saying this for? Why is he taking this line of defense? Why is he feigning victim? The white guys got it so bad. Why is he feigning like white people got it so bad? White people, hey, I can't help it that I'm white. He's suggesting that black people got some power that we don't have. You know how condescending, how hypocritical that is, how racist that is, to feign that black people control Jimmy Dore's destiny. Who does that sound like? He's playing to a Fox audience, to that dummy on Twitter who wonder why I put behind Jimmy's picture. Behind Jimmy's picture, I put a Trump rally. It was a split image, a thumbnail, the thumbnail. One side, on the left-hand side, was Dr. West. Dr. West had his audience behind him, who I envisioned him to be. I put civil rights. A civil rights scene was behind Dr. West. Behind Jimmy Dore was a Trump rally with Trump holding up his hat in a Trump rally. Because I feel the audience for Jimmy Dore are Trumpers. And this explains why. Jimmy Dore is playing the same race card that Tucker Carlson would play, that Sean Hannity would play, that Rush Limbaugh would play. Hey, I'm just a white guy. It's not my fault you guys don't like facts. Don't attack me because I'm white. What's that guy who drew Gilbert? The cartoon, Dilbert. Dilbert, that guy recently did it. That's who. Jimmy's not even original. He still have his material. Does he write anything down? He stole the material from that guy Adams. Scott Adams. You stole Scott Adams' material. He's stealing Scott Adams' material right in front of the whole world. Talking about, is it okay to be white? Is being white okay? Well, if you're black, it's not because you're black and you can't be white. So now it's not okay. That's a real stupid question, Scott. Scott, it's stupid. Jimmy, it's stupid. But Jimmy just stole his talking point. And then Jimmy Dore supporters who won't see it, they'll go, no, you're really reaching, Tim. He didn't mean that when he said it 3 times in a row, and that sounds like something that Rush Limbaugh would have said. Just because it sounds that way doesn't mean it's not coming from a genuine place. And Jimmy's just really going through things. Everybody's going through things, you dummy. I'm really tired of hearing about all the things Jimmy's going through. Jimmy's just so jaded because he's suffered so much. Oh, you're a bunch of hypocrites. I'm going through things too. I'm black in America. All the shit that Jimmy's going through He's got one thing going for him. At least he gets to be white while he's going through it. Yep. And I know you like to play your Theo Vaughn clip about how all the white people were poor. Theo Vaughn grew up around poor people. He was poor, and he grew up around poor black people, and they were all poor, man. All poor. And somehow that makes it all the same because Theo grew up around a lot of poor black people. The fact Theo grew up around a lot of poor black people should tell you everything I'm saying. He didn't say he grew up around a whole lot of poor white people. He grew up around a bunch of poor black people because there are a lot of poor black people. Hey, man, 8% of white folks live under the poverty line. About 25% of black folks. We're talking about 8% of their group, not 8% of America, 8% of their group. 8% of white folks live under the poverty line. About 25% of black people do. Why is there so many black people stapled, glued, seared to the bottom? But in that clip, your boy Jimmy Dore is doing his best Rush Line imitation. I'm white. That's nothing I can do about it. You guys are attacking me because I'm a white guy. You black people who control nothing none of my resources, doesn't control law enforcement, don't control the Google platform, the Rumble platform, or any other platform Jimmy's on. Black people don't book him for shows or choose not to book him for shows. There is nothing black people do or can do to stop Jimmy Dore from doing anything. But what does he get to do? He gets to go on his show and say, hey, I'm just a black guy. You guys disagree with me. And for the record, it is very much an insult to suggest that if I would have done what you've done to Dr. West, that black people wouldn't have had a problem with it. So you're suggesting that black people would have been fine if I would have had Dr. West on my show, because I did interview him as many times, more times than you have, frankly. And you're suggesting that if he came on my show and I disrespected him and insulted him and told him what he needs to do with his campaign and how he's a big loser and all this crap, you don't think black people would have a problem with that? Not everybody, but you don't think there would be black people that had a problem with it? You think the only reason why people got a problem with you is because you're a white guy? That's all? I mean, I can see why black people do have a problem with you. You're condescending. You are a bigot. You're insulting. And then there's this.
Jimmy, let me direct you to Phil Scott. A lot of black people watch Phil Scott, and he heard something that you said.
Yeah, there was a video that came across my desk of Jimmy Dore.
New legislation calling for $14 trillion in reparations for black Americans. For all my
try to get them a health care and a living wage before we try to get something that's unbelievably divisive. Because that would help black people more than anything.
He was angry, and he feels in his mind that he knows what black people need. You black people and me, we need livable wages and health care, because that's what he said that we need.
So you don't realize that the things that you're saying is causing you to lose people. But yet you want Dr. Cornel West to be conscious of the fact that things that he can say can lose people.
Let's rewind that a little bit more, because I want you to hear how Jimmy jumps in and listen to the way he talks about black people and black people concerns. One more time.
A lot of black people watch Phil Scott, and he heard something that you said.
Yeah, there was a video that came across my desk of Jimmy Dore.
New legislation calling for $14 trillion in reparations for black Americans. For all my
try to get them a health care and a living wage before we try to get something that's unbelievably divisive.
He said, how about we get them health care and a living wage before we try to get them something that's totally divisive? Yeah, a lot of black people will have a problem with that, which is, what you think we should get. Yeah, a lot of black people would have a problem with you telling black people, well, I guess your audience doesn't have a problem with it because they're your audience. People not in your audience would have a huge problem with that, frankly. They would have a huge problem with it if I said it. It's more of a problem because you're saying it, because it doesn't impact you. You're not black. Instead of being like, wow, I hear you guys. Let me back up out of this. Jimmy's so arrogant, he's going to speak to it anyway. And then he's going to say, hey, how about we focus on getting them? Yeah, let's focus on getting them health care and livable wage. That'll help them more than anything else. Do you hear the arrogance of this guy? Yeah, I know. Oh, he's just really jaded and it's gone through a lot. That time his dog died and he stubbed his toe and alcohol tastes good and cocaine is fun. And he was been in his nightclubs working so hard all these years and he's really been, he's been fighting the power when he's on his ass in his garage chalking, sitting in that chair. And it's really been tough. He's really been up against it. I mean, he's from a working class family. He's had it hard his whole life. It's not his fault. He means well. He loves to cripple children and all people with disabilities. The man would help a grandma cross the street. He would give both his kidneys and his left arm to somebody he didn't even like, but because he thought it was a good thing, the right thing to do. Oh, he give all his money. He's going to sell one of his $1 million homes. He's gonna donate it to charity to feed the homeless children. Yeah, I know, man. I know. None of that, none of you bleeding heart crap you guys are saying changes how offensive it is to have this white guy telling black people what black people need and what'll help black people. You know what'll help black people more than anything else, y'all? Money. The money that this government owes us and has owed us since emancipation that Jimmy don't give a damn about. And he's so arrogant, he don't care if we don't like it. He doesn't even care. His EQ is so low. He's so out of tune. He says that Dr. West is out of tune with current thing. Jimmy, you're out of tune, buddy. In fact, if we had a stronger black left, you'd be done. But unfortunately, we got a lot of black people on the left that are beholden to you because without you, they wouldn't have an audience. They're beholden to you because you can really hurt their money in their pocketbooks. I know this because there are black people that are directly connected to you who feel the opposite of you on this, and none of them commented. They didn't comment because I'm wrong. They didn't comment because they don't want to be on the wrong side of you. So that's why I got to free the slaves. I'm like Harriet Tubman up in this joint. It's okay, y'all black folks. Y'all can come out now. Come on now. I'm going to get you away from this mean white man. I'm going to get you away from that overseer, Mr. Dore, Master Dore. I'm going to get you away from him. Come on now, get away from him. Get. He don't mean you're no good. You's free. You's free. You ain't got to put up with this shit. I know, listening to him say it, talk down to us like that. I know I had to piss you off. This guy think he is. Oh, I know, you gonna flip it. Tim's mean. Tim's wrong. Tim's an opportunist. Tim's a jackass. What's that got to do with this clip, man? I didn't make this clip. He said this to the whole world. I didn't even put it out. This is a clip someone else put together. It's already on the internet. But there are defenders of Dore that'll say, hey, he's trying to bring down Jimmy. It's so wrong. It's so, what's your obsession with Jimmy Dore? Why? But if I talk about Biden, you're fine now. Just admit you're just hypocrites. Back to my point, man. Doesn't it suck having to kiss up to this guy? Doesn't it suck to have to kiss up to Jimmy Dore? You was free now. I mean it. You was free. You was all free. It's 2023. He don't own you. Let's play it a little bit. I want you to let it sink in. I want this to really sink into you, to you to really get it. How condescending it is. For anybody to say this, but for a rich white guy, and yeah, I'm throwing rich in there. Jimmy's doing all right. Jimmy's doing all right. For a rich white guy to tell black people, you need is a job. You need a job. You need a livable wage. That's what you need. You don't need no reparations.
A lot of black people watch Phil Scott, and he heard something that you said.
Yeah, there was a video that came across my desk of Jimmy Dore.
New legislation calling for $14 trillion in reparations for Black Americans. For all my
we try to
brothers
get
and
them a health care and a
sisters.
living wage before we try to get something that's unbelievably divisive. Because that would help black people more than anything.
He was angry, and he feels in his mind that he knows what black people need. You black people and me, we need livable wages and health care because that's what he said that we need.
Yeah, guys. Jimmy was so upset he didn't even let her finish the sentence. He cut his wife off in mid-sentence. We don't need this. Stop talking. These blacks don't need that. I'll tell you what these blacks need. They need health care. They need a living wage. They need to go get my car. Where's my car parked at? They need to get my car. Clean my car, wipe my windows down. Shine my shoe, darky. That's what they need. Yeah, man, it's time that the left be remade. When you got a guy like this that people consider a lefty, we got a guy like Max who's, I would say, implicit bias. I mean, come on, dog. At least insensitive to our concerns and issues. All of a sudden, Dr. West goes from being the most renowned public intellectual in the country to being just this guy that doesn't know what he's doing, can't find his way home. Where's his keys? All because in an interview, he said white supremacy. It's not even on his website. Is it? I don't even see the word white supremacy on his website. Do you guys know what a smear is? A smear is when people say you're doing something that you're not doing. Like talking about white supremacy when it's not on his campaign site. That would be like sort of like what a smear is, right? Is that, we're going to agree that's what a smear is? A falsehood that's repeated for some type of an advantage or to hurt someone's credibility or status? Isn't that pretty close to the definition? I mean, I'm going off the top of my head here. Is it fair to say that someone saying that Dr. West is running on something that he's not running on, is championing about something he's not championing, and it's not on his website, it's not in his campaign literature? Like, I'm trying to understand why these people are not condemned for what they're doing. And since it hasn't been done and no one's stepping up to do it the way I'm doing it because it needs to be done. It's even this, so we give up on the left. 2 years ago, I came to you guys. I talked to you. I told you, black people were not treated with respect within the left progressive area. And I was going to walk away from it all. Dr. West running has rejuvenated me because I believe in this campaign. I believe in what it can mean for the country. And then I said, why should I not be able to exist in a space that I helped be a part of for years? Just because I don't like the way these people operate. Maybe it's them who need to go. Maybe it's them who need to clean up their act. Maybe they're the ones that need to be re-educated. Maybe they're the ones that are off base. Maybe they're the ones that need to be readjusted. Instead of feigning like white guys are under attack, when white guys are killing it. All the top left programs are white guys. How are white guys under attack? I'm trying to understand. Just because they disagree with you doesn't mean white people are an endangered species. And once again, the clearest indication that I need to stand up, that I need to say something is, I'm about the oldest black commentator with the largest following in this space, and I'm the only one talking about it. The rest of them are not talking about it. You probably didn't even know those clips existed. Those clips were put out by those people. No one stole them. There's no leaking. There's been no leak. They knew those clips were out. They put them out themselves. They said these things publicly. I'm holding them accountable for what they said publicly. You could call that a smear, but that's not the definition of a smear. That would be called criticism. Fair game. Dialogue. Is that my fault they don't want to talk back? Is that my fault they don't want to have a conversation? Is that my fault they don't want to address it? Is that my fault they're going to play victim? Dr. Cornel West is the closest thing we have to Baldwin. And I got this lounge comedian, this lounge. Frankly, guys, I wouldn't even know who Jimmy Dore was if he wasn't on TOIT. I mean, come on, man. He's not exactly. Come on. Are we going to be delusional? I mean, I know Dr. West is a very gracious person. He's very gracious. You know, he comes on, he says nice things about people. Jimmy, he wasn't telling the truth when he said you were like George Carlin. You're not. I mean, you're a comedian, so you're in his ranks, but you're not him. George Carlin knew that there were certain struggles black people had that white people just didn't have. And you're going to say, oh, but he's running to be president, so he can't talk about him. And I'm saying if you don't talk about him, why run? We already had that guy. That guy's called, look, we already got a guy like that. That guy's name is Tim Scott. We already got a guy who wants to talk about race. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. We already got a guy who denies the issues that have been affecting us. His name is Tim Scott. We got that guy. He's running right now. If that's what America wanted, they already got that guy. What we don't have is a Cornel West. And now we do. This is an immense opportunity. I'll be damned if I let you screw it up just because you are petty and vindictive and didn't get to work on this campaign. Because that's really what this is with Jimmy, you know. He didn't get to work on Dr. West's campaign, so burn it down. Burn it all down, Kim Brown. No diss to Kim Brown, I only say that because it rhymed. No diss to Kim Brown. It's just burn it down, Kim Brown. It's cool. And look, it's a name drop. Go subscribe to Kim Brown. So, guys, look. I've been going for about, an hour and a half? That's pretty good. Doing pretty good. What if we kept going, though, Tim? What if we keep going? I don't even know. I don't even know if people out there. I guess they are. Listen, guys, let's be real clear here. This is not just about Jimmy. This is just not about Max Blumenthal. It's about what's going on the left. And look, I think it's fixable. Real conversations need to be had. Real conversations need to be had. We have an opportunity, an unprecedented opportunity to make a change in our political process, to change the political environment. We have that opportunity. I don't think we get that done with Cornel West losing the black vote to Joe Biden. I know you seem not to understand that. If Dr. West goes with what you're suggesting, he would lose the black vote to Joe Biden. That would be a mistake. There has to be a way that Dr. West can be Dr. West, speak to these issues, and speak to issues that concern working class white folks and speaks to the over-militarization, and speaks to the gross inequality, and speaks to climate. Oh, that's right. He already does that. He already does what you're saying. Sure, Dr. West will come on my show and he'll talk a lot about race because that's what I ask him about. But if we were talking about his campaign and what's important to the campaign, that's a different conversation. That's the same conversation you could have had, Jimmy. You could have talked to him about his campaign. You didn't want to. You wanted to talk to him about Biden. And anybody who watched that clip, Max, including you, Max, you ass kiss, would see Jimmy set the table for that conversation. He did not want the conversation to be about Dr. West's campaign, about his policies. He wanted it to be about an argument about Joe Biden versus Trump. Who's worse? Then at the very end, he wanted to make it about lockdowns. And look, hey, lockdowns were vicious and they had a deleterious effect on the black community. It was a serious effect, a negative impact, a monstrous impact on the black community. I find it funny that the people that say bringing up black is identity politics, but you got no problem bringing up black problems when it suits your narrative. Oh, it's fine to bring up black politics and black issues when it suits you. So it's all about when he brings them up, it's okay to bring it up in regards to the shutdown, and the lockdown, but we can't bring it up regarding anything else. And for the record, the reason why black people were so over-indexing when it comes to suffering from the shutdowns is because we were struggling to begin with. Yeah, when your house is built of straw, when the wind blows, more of your houses get blown over. Black houses are built of straw. White houses are built of bricks. What I'm trying to tell you is that black people are already in debt. Black business. You say 40% of black businesses went away under the shutdown. First of all, that's not Cornel West's fault. Like, he didn't make that happen. To kind of blame him and then pretend he don't care about it like it's a non-issue. Of course it's an issue. But let's be clear, guys. The fact that most black businesses are underfunded to begin with had a lot to do with that. And why are black businesses underfunded? Well, it's harder to get loans. And why is it harder to get loans? Because of discrimination. Because they don't own enough homes. Because a lot of people use their homes to back their businesses. But there are a lot of reasons why. And a lot of those reasons why black businesses went away are because of racial components. Not class. Not class. We're in the class struggle because of our race. Disproportionately because of our race. So, once again, my argument is this, guys. It's real simple. You can't separate class from race. I'm not trying to separate class from race. I'm not saying that class is not an issue, but I object to your assertion that we can have a conversation that leaves race out because it's part of it. And it sounds to me like you don't want black people issues to have a seat at the table. And I don't care who's running. I'm going to make that same argument. And it's a double slap in the face for you to say the author of the book, Race Matters, shouldn't let race matter. That's stupid. I mean, that's completely moronic, right? How's the guy who wrote a famous book called Race Matters not supposed to talk about race when it matters? Because you don't want to hear about it. Because you think he might be to get some Trump supporters who are racist. For the record, that's why I had a problem with some people, man, because they actually believe that. And look, I had a problem with a couple people, like Breonna Joy Gray. I had a problem with her because she was giving me that same vibe a couple years ago. But I should not have attacked her the way I did. But I was so angry because she's one of our brightest and best. You know, she's a lawyer. She's got all this. So I was really let down. I was really angry, man. But I handled it incorrectly. I handled it inappropriately. So I publicly apologize to her for that. But let's be clear here. Let's be clear, man. My opinion has not changed. There are black people. There are black voters out there. And there are black people that could vote who don't vote. because they don't see why they should. And I think Dr. West could do major numbers by getting those disaffected voters to come out and vote. That's really what Trump did. He got people that normally wouldn't vote to vote. Dr. West could do the same thing. Can Dr. West go talk to Trumpers? Yeah, he can. Can he go talk to evangelicals? Yes, he can. But he doesn't have to go woo Klan members and racist. He doesn't have to go do that. He doesn't have to become non-black or unblack. First of all, he can't. He can't go be Tim Scott in order to attract white votes. Hell, how's that working out for Tim Scott? Not working so well anyway, is it? Isn't he like 2%? I mean, he's doing exactly the formula you're saying Dr. West should use, and he's at 2%. Talk about a stinker. I mean, he's at 2%, and he's doing what Max is saying Cornel West should do. It's not working right now, and you see it not working on the Republican side. But you think, oh, if Cornel West adopts it, it'll change everything. What team y'all playing on, man? What team are you playing on? I want to know. What team are you working with? Because those sound like we're on the same team. You're running Dr. West's name down in the mud. For what? I bet if he would have stayed with the People's Party, you wouldn't even be saying anything. If Dr. West would have stayed with the People's Party and Dr. West would have hired Jimmy Dore, Max would have shut up, he wouldn't be talking, and neither would Jimmy Dore. Give it up, y'all. That's what I believe. They could be real quiet then. Everybody be supportive. Steph will be baking cookies. Jimmy will be having a martini and a cigar. This is an important election. This election is extremely important. Let me say a couple words about Peter Daou, man, because I haven't spoken about Peter Daou. Let's talk about Peter Daou before we leave. I have concerns about Peter Daou. I'm not lockstep with anybody. I have my concerns. I'm going to voice those concerns when I interview him. Am I just going, hey, Peter, all right. Yeah, Peter Daou. No, I wasn't. Nor was I like, hey, man, everything's in the past. The past is the past. Hey, man, I was one of those people that the correct the record bastards were going after every day. I was receiving the brunt of that. I was the foremost Black Bernie supporter, man. I was getting so much correct the record nonsense. I think I was on the list, at the top of the list of who to harass online, okay? By the correct the record Brock trolls. So nah. I'm not in the Peter Daou camp. But I have spoke to him. And he gonna come on the show. And I'm gonna ask him some questions. I think I can read questions. Do like this. Not respond to his question. And then read another one. I think I can handle that. I mean, that's all it takes to have a great interview. I got a feeling our interview will have a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more seasoning on it. You know what I'm saying? Prince George's Maryland style, you know? PG County style. Just how I roll. But yeah, I'm not supportive of it yet. I will say this though, I'm not unsupportive of it yet. Yeah. I keep hearing people say, hey, you could have get all these people to be campaign manager. But no one's giving me any names other that they could have chose. Like, you guys keep saying, well, you should have chose Jill Stein. She didn't want the job. She had the job. So, I'm like, who else? Who are these other people? Because no one's even suggested other people. I will say this, though, about Peter Daou. He did make a good argument on one point. And that is, ain't gonna be a lot of people with experience on campaigns who want to jump into this hornet's nest, meaning that their careers will be perpetually damaged. So that's something you guys forget. Running a campaign against Biden, because I know you listen to Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal and these other morons, you might begin to believe that Dr. Cornel West isn't running against Joe Biden, but he is. He's running against Joe Biden, and the knives are going to come out, and they're going to get harder and harder, go harder and harder at Cornel West. That's what they're going to do. And anybody that works with Dr. Cornel West will have a hard time getting employed afterwards. Do you understand that? It's probably not a lot of people lining up for that job. I'm not going with the conspiracy notion that we don't need any evidence and we could just say, hey man, Peter's an infiltrator. You got any evidence? Nah, it's obvious. Now there's sometimes things are obvious. It's obvious Tim Black does not have hair on his head. That's obvious. I'm looking right at it. You're looking right at it. There is no hair up there. It's obvious Tim Black is black. You're looking right at me. There it is. Now, what would not be obvious is that I'm not wearing pants. Because you can't see that. You have to be here to know that, right? I do have on shorts, but you can't see that. See, that's the way I see this whole smear thing about infiltrators. You don't know. We got people talking like they know something that they don't know. You can say you don't trust somebody. You can say, I'm paranoid about this. Stop talking like you know something. Okay? Brianna Joy Gray, I know she would have a hard time getting a job certain places just because she supported Bernie. Same thing with Senator Nina Turner. Same thing with anybody who supported Bernie, who didn't jump ship and throw other people under the bus. Simone Sanders. So what I'm saying is, it's not that easy to just say, you're just saying like, Peter's, like, there's a certain amount of price to pay for doing this job. I believe that Dr. West is throwing his all into this. And I don't think he's doing this as a vanity play. And I don't think he's doing it for fun. I think he's aware how much work a campaign is because he's happened to be a part of about 5 of them. Most of us have been a part of none of them, which I find ironic that people that have not been a part of a campaign have so much to say about how it should be done. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of funny. I never drove a car, but let me tell you how to drive it. I never flew a plane, but let me tell you how to fly it. I never ran a campaign, but let me tell you how to run it. Sounds crazy. So anyway, but Peter Daou, hopefully next week I have an opportunity to talk to him. So yeah, though I am supporting Dr. Cornel West, I have my concerns. But I'm not crazy. I'm not making up shit. I'm not pulling things out my butt and going, hey, and I got a reason not to like him too. But if a guy says he's changed, you got to see if he did or not. Can't just be like, change is impossible. Man, in 2008, I voted for Obama, man. Now you couldn't pay me to vote for him. And I think that's you got to be fair in your critique. All right, guys, so here's the thing, man. I'm hoping that we can do something with the left. Black people deserve to be heard, and we deserve our respect on the left side of politics and left politics. We have to demand it. It don't have to be given to us. So that's why this stream is aggressive, because I'm not expecting you to give me nothing. I'm not asking. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it by doing it. And I'm going to do live streams, and I'm going to go after your sacred cows, and I'm going to call out people that are full of it, and we're going to take back the left. Black people will have a spot on the left because, damn it, I'm going to make it so. Tim Black going to stand up and make it so. We're going to build something. So Torrin Walker and I, we're going to be working on it, and we're going to add other people to the team. We're going to work together to build a strong contingent. That's right. There will be no bending the knee to people like Jimmy Dore. There will be no bending the knee. Our issues will matter. We will have a seat at the table. And you ain't got to give it to us. We're going to take it. That's how it is. That's how it works. That's how movement works. That's really all I got, man. Let's go to comments. I've been talking long enough. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come back for the Black Table. 10 Blacks Black Table with Mrs. Black. And that's another thing. An amazing concept. A black husband and wife with a lefty husband and a wife that's kind of left too, not really into politics that much. But we have a different perspective. This show should be killing it. It should be killing it. So we're going to keep going. We're like episode 24. I want you to check it out. Give it a shot. Give it a shot, folks. Let me see if I can get to YouTube. YouTube, where you at, baby? We're live. I'm just going to look for my people, man. I'm going to look for my people. Here we go, guys. I should have made comments only by subscribers. I forgot to do that. So I'm going to look for people who are subscribers, like Katrina Wilson. David's View, VIP. What's going on, brother? What's going on, Katrina? How you doing? Wilson. Yes, there are mad trolls up in here. I'm sure there are. Yes, there are. Next time, we will stop them. Next time, they won't be able to come in. What's up, Queens, Lioness? I would like to see you, Tim, and Brother Phil Scott have a discussion. I reached out to Brother Phil. I heard he don't really mess with people like that. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully we can have a conversation. I will say this about Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil. Brother Phil, right? I believe that Brother Phil cares about black people very much. That's all I care about. I don't care about left or right. Not to that extent. I don't care about Democrats or Republicans. I care about black politics. I care about black people getting something for their vote. Right now, the Democratic Party is using black people, and that has to change. Right? Dr. Cornel West is the best option for us. I agree with his politics. There's some things that we may differ on slightly, but I'm telling you, I'm behind this campaign because I believe in those policies. I believe in what he stands for, and I believe he cares about black people. And that's majorly important because I don't think he's going to throw us under the bus like Obama. That's important to me. Monte Kitchens is back. Thank you, Monte Kitchens. Thank you for doing this, says David's View. I appreciate you, my brother. A pharaoh named Legion said you should ask Dr. West about Haiti. Now, I have covered Haiti. I know what the Clintons did to Haiti. If you're referring to the destruction of Haiti with the earthquakes and how the Clintons took advantage of that, it took money that was supposed to go to Haiti. Is that what you're talking about? Let me know, Pharaoh. That I am aware of. It's one of my major beefs with the Clintons is Haiti. You feel me? So yeah. But I want to thank you guys, man. I want to thank you. All right, guys. Our Blackout said JD sounded like he was on Fox News when he made that reaction to his horrible interview. Yes, it did sound like it. And only a person who's listening unbiasedly could come to that conclusion. It sounded exactly like he was on Fox News. Now I say, it sounded to me like he catered to Trump supporters. No, Tim, you're smearing him. That's wrong. Jimmy's great. I met him. I looked into his heart. I can see his eyes and see his heart and all this other nonsense. I'm looking at what he's saying and what he's doing. What What are you talking about? What kind of garbage is this? I lifted to his heart. Shut up. Y'all's free. Black folk, you free. You free. You ain't gotta stay up under Jimmy Dore. You ain't gotta stay up under that man. That's it, y'all. I'm crazy. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel if you find this content interesting. I'm gonna get out of here. I love you guys. Remember, like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Not Max Blumenthal, not Jimmy Dore, not Joe Biden, okay? And not Trump either. Don't give me that, oh, Trump's not a friend. Cut the... If you got a channel and you spend 90% of the time, well, 90% of the time not talking about Trump at all in any negative way, and when you do, it's like, yeah, Trump. You say Trump a lot, but you never criticize him? Because I know what Trumpers do. When you have a channel and you talk about Democrats a lot in a negative way, you attract a lot of Trump supporters. It's happened to all of us. It happened to me overwhelmingly on Facebook. But see, guess what happens? When you criticize Trump, they leave. That's how I know he ain't criticizing Trump. Because if you criticize Trump supporters or you criticize Trump, Trump supporters will bounce. And I know Jimmy doesn't do that. So to me, that's a person who's soft on Trump. You ain't got to agree. You don't have to agree, but stop saying it's a smear, dum-dum. Don't say it's a smear. It's not a smear. It's an opinion based on facts, based on my observation. You can disagree because you're not a Trump supporter. You think no one else is. Have you looked at the comment section? Have you looked at the comment section? Go to the Rumble page. Lord, all right. Jesus Christ, man. I didn't make it this way. I didn't plan. I'm not planning something. It is what it is. He made a financial decision who he was going to go to. Look, I used to do a show with a guy called H.A. Goodman. H.A. Goodman had written like 200 articles in support of Bernie Sanders. Then after the election, he was so bitter, he became a Trump supporter because he hated Hillary that much. People change. People change. H.A. Goodman became a Trump supporter. What I respect about H.A. is he said it. He didn't hedge. He said, I'm going over to get that Trump money. And when our conversations happened, like after, because we were friends, man, we did a show together for almost 2 years. Once a week, we get together and do a show. Yeah, I love this show. It was amazing. I thought it was a great show. It would be big as hell right now. Him becoming a Trumper wasn't even a problem. I'm like, good. We have a Trump person and a Bernie person going at it every week. He didn't want to do that. H.A. Goodman's number took off. H.A. Goodman's numbers took off when he went Trump. His money escalated. I talked to him and said, wow, man, you're doing really well. He said, man, all you got to do if you want Trump supporters is don't offend them. That's all. You all got to support Trump. Just don't offend them. I said, man, I got no choice. I got to offend them. So I'm in the business. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not making anything up. I know what you got to do to have an audience that has Trumpers in it. And so does Jimmy. And so does Max. And so does the Gray Zone. Stop talking to me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a grown-ass man. I've been doing this 12 years. I don't have a second job. I know how this works. I know how online media works. I know how you make money. I know how you build an audience. And I just spent 2 years rebuilding my audience for a reason. So I know what I'm doing. You ain't got to agree, but I know what I'm doing. And I know what works, and I know what other people are doing. Okay? Works the other way too. Crystal Aviles. Crystal Aviles, 99% of his content is anti-Trump. Guess what he never does? Supports Trump. He'll never say a kind word about Trump because it works the other way too. And I remember when Christo had less of subscribers than me. But then when he stopped being fair, balanced, he said, I'm going to make a total anti-Trump channel. I respect it. It takes discipline to day after day do content that throws Trump under the bus so consistently. Okay, that's what he's doing. Okay? But that's what he had to do to build that audience. So don't tell me audiences just appear, dum-dum. They don't just appear. You don't just end up with a black audience unless you cover black issues. It would never happen. If I don't talk about reparations, if I don't talk about discrimination, if I don't talk about mass incarceration, if I don't talk about killings and shootings and things that impact us, economics, advancement, wealth equality, if I don't talk about these things, I wouldn't have black people to watch. Period. Because these things matter to the black community. It matters to black viewers. Same thing with Trump people. Same thing with Biden people. Okay? So stop pretending and lying to yourself. Look, no, here we go. You can lie to yourself if you want to. Don't lie to me. How about that? How about you lie to you? Don't lie to me. So how about you stop talking to me, making excuses for your guy? I know what your guy's doing. I don't respect it because he's a liar. He'll lie about it. H.A. never lied. When he switched, he switched. He wasn't saying, I'm a Bernie supporter, meanwhile he was boosting Trump. Nah, he switched. He left. He went Trump. He didn't stick on both sides. He did what he did. You respect a guy who does that, or a woman who does that. Same thing with Candace Owens. I don't like Candace Owens. I detest her politics. Her politics is repulsive. It makes me want to throw up. I almost want to throw up on my mic just saying her name, but guess what? I respect her consistency and the fact she's up front. She'll tell you, I hate Democrats. At least you know what you're getting. You're not getting somebody that goes, no, I'm fair and balanced, and then the whole time she's supporting Trump. Get it? So that's my problem with Jimmy. He didn't owe me money, though he did have to pay me when I worked for him that one time at that one show. He did have to pay me. But that's okay. I heard he underpays a lot of people. Oh, there you go. But the point is this, guys. The point is this. Stop lying. That's all. Accept reality. The left needs to change. I'm going to change it. Become a member of the Tim Black Show. Like I always say, don't let nobody take your cornbread. And when they say, why are you supporting Dr. West? Don't say you like his hair. Don't say his glasses are cool. Don't tell me it's because of Coltrane. You love Coltrane. Nah, tell him it's a new day. All it is, baby. It's a new day. All right, guys, that's it. Make sure I got all my questions, all my answers, man. I get everybody? I did. Shut the door. I love it. I just ate some cornbread. There it is. Bye, Byron. I got a couple of them, y'all. Yeah, I found a couple, but that's 3. This is good to come back and get them. Next time we won't have to deal with them. Next time we won't have to deal with them. Whatever, man. I with you since before the HA days. Good to see you back. Whatever, man. What's up, whatever, man? How you doing? I'm going through Queen Lioness. Thank you. Thank you for saying you're tuned in. Sojourner. Patty P, watching you forever. Thank you. I'm trying to catch some of these trolls, y'all. The grifters. The grifters. Oh, you got to be minded to find out what Blumenthal said about Cornel West. He said that Cornel West was catering to blacks. Something like that. Identity politics. He said the same thing that Jimmy said. I wonder why he said the exact same thing Jimmy said. So it's okay. People think it's okay for people like Jimmy and Max to team up and go at Cornel West, but it's not okay for me to call them out. They're using their microphones to say what's on their minds. They both have larger audiences than me. But you have no problem with them dumping on West, but if I defend them and call them out, you're like, I'm the bad guy. Why is it not them the bad guy? Why aren't they the bad guy? Why are they trying to stop this movement? I'll tell you why. Because Jimmy could not get a job with Dr. West. That's the main reason. Because that's how petty Jimmy Dore is. Don't tell me I looked into his soul. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Don't tell me that. You're not a surgeon, okay? You're not a heart surgeon. Are you a heart surgeon? I don't think you are. Are you psychic? I don't believe in that. You're Looney Tunes. You're fooled. You're hypnotized. You're stupid. Okay? Spread love, share peace. I want to give a shout out to Nabs. Nabby Nabs. What's his name? Nabby Nabs. The guy over there, man. That brother. Nabby Stabby Nabs. He was live streaming the show for me, man. It was doing me a favor. Anybody know Nabby Nabs? I know Nabs. That's Sabby Sabs. It's a brother over there that does a lot of weed. I think he grows his own weed. Nay's Garden. That's what I'm talking about. Brother Nay. Shout out to Nay. Look, man, whenever somebody does me a favor to help me out at all, I know how to shout them out. Because we are underfunded shop. We're small. We're the little guy. The little guy got to appreciate when people stand up for us because we ain't got a lot of support like that. You know what I'm saying? We're small, but we're mighty, right? We're big in the heart. We're big at heart. People that know me know I used to like Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore went crazy. I didn't go crazy. He went crazy. He went crazy. I used to defend Jimmy. Me. Why do I no longer defend Jimmy? Because he's full of it. That's why, man. It ain't because, it ain't because, he ran over my dog or, it's not because he's trying to get at my wife. It's nothing personal. But he's full of it. Okay? So, and now this is becoming a problem. But if he keeps Dr. West's name out his mouth and he stopped dumping on the campaign, I will stop talking about him. But I won't start talking about what the left needs to do because us black leftists got to stand up. We got to stand up, guys. So anybody out there who agrees with me, subscribe to this channel. We have to change the dynamic. I'm not saying the only issues we could ever talk about are black issues. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying they have to be on the menu. Our issues deserve to be on the menu. They have to be on the menu. Period. I'm not going to debate that. I'm not going to barter it. I'm not going to beg. I'm just going to put them on the menu. There goes the menu. I'm writing the menu. I'm putting black issues on the menu. That's all. They should already be there. Not the way Joe Biden does it, though, where it's just to get votes. Right? So, you may not like it, but you got to respect it. And if you don't respect it, I'm going to kick you out. Yeah. Did I get all the trolls? Any other trolls I need to get, Kevin? David, any more trolls I need to get? Katrina, any more trolls I need to get out? All power to the people. Notary? No? Y'all good? Patty P, any trolls I need to kick out? No, Dore will never mention me. They won't mention me because they're afraid I'm going to get bigger. It's what you do on the biz. You don't understand. You don't understand how business works. You think for a second Jimmy Dore doesn't know that I'm doing this live stream right now? Come on, man. No, you don't know anything. It's okay, though. I don't care. I'll mention anybody I'm beefing with. I'll mention anybody I got an issue with. I'm not concerned with them getting big. They're already big. Not talking about Jimmy is not going to shrink them. What troll? Oh, keep the trolls? Oh, okay, Kurt Boss. Give it up for Kurt Boss. Kurt says, hey, I agree with Cornel West. It's not just about agreeing with him. You don't got to agree with him. You don't have to smear him. These guys are smearing him. They're not being fair. They're not being honest. That's my problem. They're talking about a stump speech that hasn't been given yet. They're talking about policies that are not on this policy board. His policies are dismantling the empire, unleashing democracy, and saving the planet. Not trying to make all racist people not be racist. That's not his policy. That's not a policy point. His policies are not all trans people need to go play sports. That's the way Jimmy talks, okay? That's how Jimmy smears. That's not his policy. He's not running on that. So that's a lie, that's a smear. And I'm going to stand up against it. And I don't work for the campaign. And Max said that Cornel West said his attack dogs on Jimmy to call him a racist. And I felt he was talking about me. And I'm not an attack dog. I'm a wolf. You candy ass, I'm a wolf. And I wasn't sent. I came forth. All right. Woo! All right. Like, subscribe, Marcos. What's up, brother? Get up for my people, man. Marcos is one of them. Marcos. All right, guys, that's it, man. Let's stick together, guys. Let's stick together. Let's stick together, everybody. Please, let's stick together. This is important. We're just getting started. There's going to be a lot more obstacles, a lot more challenges, a lot more issues. If tomorrow Max Blumenthal has a change of heart, I'll bury the hatchet. But we need to have a conversation because you don't get to minimize black people. You don't get to minimize our issues and portray them as just identity politics. I'm tired of the Matt Taibbi's. It's a couple people. Matt Taibbi, Blumenthal, Dore, all three of them have used that rhetoric. I don't know about Aaron Maté, but I got a feeling he ain't going to break from his friends. But I'm not going to put words in his mouth. Anyone saying that black issues are identity politics and they say they're on the left, I got a problem. We're going to debate that. You talk about Biden. You're not talking about me. You're not talking about the black left who don't use it as a wedge or a way to get votes. You want actual change. There's a difference. Okay? There's a difference. Stop putting this all in the same boat. All right. I'm gone, guys. I love you. I'll see you on the next one.
you.